So I think what I would love to do is just ask, I mean, so the immunotherapy I know is 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
How long was the radiation therapy?
The radiation therapy was about a month.
And it was during the time you were on Keytruda?
Yes, it was during the time I was on Keytruda, because at the time I had started getting a met in my femur. We didn't know how bad it was, but the radiation was done on my hips and my femurs at that time.
So would you say, was it the last month of Keytruda, or was it the middle, like in the middle?
It was like in the middle.
In the
Yeah,
middle,
it was
okay.
about middle point.
So I'll just ask one quick question about it.
Sure.
Okay. So Amy, while you're in the middle of Keytruda, this immunotherapy, they notice that there's something going on with the femur. Not sure of how big the spot is. So the doctor tells you, we're going to do radiation therapy.
Yes.
Can you describe the process of it in terms of what you had to go through and any side effects you encountered?
Sure. I ended up having radiation on my femur and my hips. It was an easy process, if you want to say. They build a mold around your hips so that you won't move. There was no pain associated with the actual radiation itself. Because of the bone met in my femur, the pain was incredible, but had nothing to do with radiation.
That's okay. It's a good sign that you forgot, because it means it's been a while.
Oh my gosh, now I just completely blanked. That's terrible.
Right. No, that's all right.
Gosh. Hold on, maybe I drink some water.
How long did the radiation session take? And was it, so it was for a month, was it every day, every Monday through Friday for a month, or?
No, it was I think it was every 3 days. Every 3 days I had to have it. And
each session lasted
about a half an hour. It took me more time to put on a gown than it took to get because I couldn't hardly move. I was in a wheelchair. I couldn't take my clothes off. So my mom had to help me. Another side effect I had that I honestly don't know if it was because of my age. It seemed that Keytruda stopped my period. So I now had a weakened urinary tract. So I would pee. So I would always have to, wear diapers just so I didn't do that.
So after the Keytruda started, you noticed your period stopped.
Yes.
Then with the radiation on top of everything, the urinary tract, I mean, it was the control. It was loosened, yes. Right?
The control was loosened. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I think that'll be really helpful, because it's about expectation setting for people on what could happen.
Yes. And the only other side effect I had, which was helped by something called Silvadene, was I did get burnt. So I did have areas of burnt in my groin area, but the doctor had prescribed me Silvadene because they knew that might happen. The good thing about my doctors is they were on top of everything. So all the medication they thought I might have to have was already ready for me.
Awesome. That's wonderful. I love hearing about when patients find medical teams that are on top of it. Like,
yes. Yeah, and especially they make it so easy to get a hold of them. It can be at 3:00 in the morning and they'll still answer you. So,
yeah.
Very important.
When you mentioned, actually, I forgot to double click on this. You had mentioned your doctor. You texted him?
Yeah. Well, they texted. He texts me, and I can text him. Not very often, but we also do emails, and we have our patient portal where it goes directly to them immediately.
But he gave you a number where you could reach him directly for more urgent use, not for everyday communication.
Yep.
That's wonderful.
It is.
Actually, what's his name so we can give a shout out?
Dr. John Castiva.
Okay. And so the follow-up that you had to do, you have a PET scan? once
Yes.
every 4 months. Is that still?
I'm once every 4 months now. Back then it was once every 3 months for a PET scan, and then once every 6 months for a brain scan, for an MRI. I'm sorry. The PET scan, after being on crizotinib for 3 months, came back and the doctor was like, look at this. And he showed me the two difference on the screen, the two different, and he said, this is what you look like before. Look what you look like now. This is gone. This is gone. And I was just thrilled. I was like, oh, I knew it. I said, the way I felt physically, I knew it had to have been doing something. So.
Your body lets you know these things.
No, it does. It does. I'm mad that it didn't let me know before I had it. So I knew ahead of time to push my doctor more about the side effects or the symptoms. When I think back now, the pain in my shoulder, a year before I got diagnosed, probably was a side effect or a symptom of lung cancer. Didn't know it.
It's so hard. It is. Lung cancer is hard because even with the shoulder pain, if you knew to get that checked out,
Yeah.
the path from that symptom to getting a lung cancer diagnosis can be hard. And
Yeah.
as we know, doctors don't want to over test and over scan. And so they're going to rule out the, sort of what's the most likely, and lung cancer would not be in that. So
No.
we'll be figuring out something, I think. Science will get us there.
Yeah, I think so.
And so for you, the brain MRI, it's because lung cancer, we know, can travel and cross the barrier.
Yes.
And so that's twice a year. Is that indefinitely? How long is that?
Right now, I believe it's indefinitely, and the PET scans are now 4 months. So I did go up a month, and that's indefinitely as well.
And then the hope that it'll be like every 6 months then, and maybe yearly.
Yes. Yep.
And the response technically is that you are not no evidence of disease, but it's stable. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. Because right now at this point, I still have a light up in my lung and a light up on my adrenal gland. So, but again, the doctor said that could be dead tissue, or the radiation may still be working. And you just don't know. So I'm stable. It hasn't grown, and that's all I want to know.
And on that note, I'm glad you brought up, there's still a little lighting up on the lung and also the adrenal gland. And so that's why you have SBRT done on the lung area.
Yes.
And cryoablation done on the adrenal gland. If you could just briefly describe both SBRT and the cryoablation.
Sure. SBRT is stereotactic body radiation, which means you get stronger radiation to a smaller spot instead of the whole area. So I had 5 SBRT sessions on my lung to shrink it, but we wanted to kill it. Who knows? It might be dead. It may not. And as for the cryoablation, that was interesting. You go into a bit of a twilight. They sort of twilight you. And how do I explain this very good? It's like 3 needles or so that go in, and they freeze the tumor on your adrenal gland.
So for the process in terms of the human experience, what is that like?
It only hurt for a second, but when I banged on the table, the nurse knew, so she upped my twilight a little more.
I like that. That's how you communicate. You're like,
yes.
I need more.
Yeah, because I couldn't figure out, I couldn't talk. For some reason, the words wouldn't come out. So I just thought, I'll bang on the table. So yeah, if you ever do encounter that, bang on the table.
Just let them know. I like that message though, because sometimes I think we're afraid to ask for stuff. Just ask, be like, what's possible? What's possible to help with the pain beforehand? So you know.
Yeah, exactly. But I had no pain afterwards. There was no recovery time or anything to it.
It's amazing. And how often have you had SBRT done and the cryoablation done?
I only had the SBRT was done 5 sessions one time. So it was over 5 days. Yes, 5 days. And then the cryoablation was done once, and that was a one-shot deal.
All right. And so moving forward, Amy, what is the plan in addition to the follow-up of the PET scan every 4 months, the brain MRI every 6 months? What does it look like?
I continue on crizotinib until either it stops working or becomes toxic. Right now, I'm stable and I'm happy to say that's what I am. And I hope it continues to work. We're on 3 years of stable. So that's a great thing.
I think that's beautiful. The energy that you carry with you. And so for the crizotinib, does your doctor say, well, it's fairly, you are, it's fairly new. And so in this, you're kind of a pioneer here. People are going to be looking at how you're doing.
Yes. I know he talks to his tumor board regarding me. I don't know how often. I'm assuming every time I have a PET scan, he's like, well, she's still boring. But so we're hoping, knocking on wood. Now, crizotinib's been around for a long time. That was like one of the first targeted therapies they had come around with. I believe it was maybe 2013 it came out. Could be wrong on that date, but it's still been around for a very long time. But the squamous with a MET amplification is, a shocker.
The best kind of shocker possible.
Yes, yes. And I would think it gives other people with squamous hope.
Absolutely, absolutely. As we sort of wrap this up, Amy, any guidance to people, people who are watching? They might be newly diagnosed. Some might be also, in the same shoes, have been living with stage 4 lung cancer for some years. How to approach life in that way, right? I mean, you experienced the lows of when you thought physically, mentally, you couldn't handle it anymore, all the way to within weeks, just changing and being like, I have a new lease on life, to now being like, okay, we're just going to keep going with this.
Yes.
What's your guidance to folks on living life in this way?
Well, you definitely have to enjoy every day. Actually, every second, even the bad stuff, you still need to enjoy it because it may not be there for long. So also try not to be nervous about your scans. It's not going to help anything at all, and may actually make things worse. If you're really, really upset and your anxiety is through the roof, definitely call your primary care doctor to have help with that. And never give up. And always hold on to that hope. If you don't like an answer a doctor gives you, try another one. Get a second opinion, get a third opinion. You have time. You just have to find the right doctor.
Thank you so much. What a powerful message. And again, with the biomarker testing, I think the fact is that you went to this new academic center, and that was where you learned of this MET amplification, and that turned everything around. So any message about making sure there's access to the information and knowledge that this exists, and to the testing for everybody, including those in the community.
Yeah, you definitely have to self-advocate. Especially, I know there's smaller cancer centers out there in the world where you're not close to a university, hospital, conglomerate. What I would say is do take the time to go to one, even if you have to travel, but also bring the information back to your smaller cancer center so that they know that that can be done.
And then hopefully that will help the many patients to come after.
Yes, right? Yes.
Amy, any last thing you want to share to our viewers and our readers?
No, just hang on to hope.
I so appreciate you spending the time today, sharing all that you've been through, and we will keep folks posted. And for everyone who wants to read or watch Amy's incredible full story, just head to thepatientstory.com, where you'll find human answers to your cancer questions. Thank you, Amy.